Test. welcome back to the live development of Zenhook. So, I think it's been at least a week since I was last working on Zenhook, but today I just want to do a little bit more development and thought it would be cool to live stream it. So, where have we got up to so far? Well, there's been a few things that I've changed since I last streamed. Let me just get this mic turned up a little bit. Hopefully I'm coming through okay. So I did do a little bit of offline stuff. Just to catch people up, Zenhook is a webhook application. Well, a webhook management application. So this is an application that allows you to create different endpoints and then just throw things at it. So if you've got, let's say, an endpoint in your accounting software or your ERP system, and all these different events are firing, you can usually point them at a URL, like a webhook. So this is what this is. So a quick tour just to catch people up if they've not already seen it. I've got some endpoints here, for example. I can disable them, enable them. And if I wanted to, I can create a new endpoint. So I can say ERP catcher. So that's just like going to catch something that fires when an event happens in your ERP system, for example. Just click create, and I get this URL. So I can add this onto the base URL. So at the moment, it's running on localhost. And I can pass in this access token with it, and it will send my information into Zenhook, and that will show up in this inbox, and we can look at them. And the big thing, well, hopefully the big sell for this is that it will automatically summarize the raw data that you've sent in. So this is just a sample JSON object. So this is supposed to simulate like a bot failure, something like that. So say you've got like some automated processes, some bots running, then this might be an event that came from that system that you can then point into Zenhook. So you can see the original raw data. That was how I started things. And then I added in this AI summary. So it will automatically run against an LLM and say, summarize this webhook very succinctly. So it just gets a very short, simple summary. And hopefully the idea is that you don't have to constantly trawl through all these different bits of JSON or XML or form data. You can just have an AI say, hey, something happened. Here's the summary. So a few things that have changed on this side. So I've changed some of the UI. So I've added in the timestamp. I've added in some little icon here to say which IP address sent it in. Obviously, this is just my local host. And then I've got the type as well. So this is application JSON. I support XML, plain text, form encoded values as well. And we can also see that it's unread. And then if I go to an API, well, a HTTP client, then I can send something in. So let me just test another one. So I'm pointing this at my endpoint called test2. And here you can see we've got the base URL. I'm going to hit this submit endpoint, and this is what we generated when we created the endpoint. So it's got the user ID and the access token in there that will allow me to post to that endpoint that I created. And so if I just send that, then the idea is I should get a accepted message back. And then if I just refresh this inbox, then you can see I've got another message, and there you go. It's summarized it. We've got the data there that was sent in. So, pretty simple application, really. The idea is this is just a micro SaaS. It's for developers who might be building their own applications, indie hackers, and they want to just have a back end without setting up all the database stuff straight away. So they just want to be able to send data somewhere. You might be tracking the usage on a website. So you might just say, okay, when this person clicks this, then send it to Zenhook with a payload that it can then summarize with AI. But also, like I say, it could just be you've got a bunch of enterprise applications and they all have events that are firing to different webhooks, and you just want to consolidate those into one place. So I've got quite a few plans for this. I did start adding my billing structure, so this is still a bit of a draft, but at the moment I've got 4 tiers. So I've decided that I want to go for a free model at the beginning. So I want to have the ability for people to try this out without going through this free trial process. So you wouldn't have to put your credit card in for this. It would just be the default. So you sign up to Zenhook and you'd have the free available plan. And here it is explained. Let me just zoom in a little bit. So this free tier. So at the moment, I'm going with unlimited webhook ingestion, which sounds a little bit crazy, but I'm balancing that out with you don't get AI summaries, basically. So the big cost for me, besides infrastructure, is besides just hosting the application somewhere, would be running all the payloads through AI. So I want to make sure that I don't really want to have to worry too much about how much is being run against those AI endpoints. And so if you're running a free plan, then you get your raw data. You can send as much as you want through, but you'll only get it retained for 24 hours. So that's something I need to look at. You can have some basic alerts, basic search filtering. Pretty much everyone's got search at the moment. You've got that dashboard that we saw at the beginning, and we've got that raw payload viewer. But if you try to view an AI summary, that's where you get these sort of padlocks. You need to upgrade to the starter plan. $9.99 a month at the moment. That's where I'm starting. A lot of this is going to change because no one's got this in their hands yet. So, I might put this out there and people might go, what? There's no way I'm paying $9.99 a month for this. So obviously then I'd change things. But ultimately, if the demand's there, then great. This is just a starting point. If I go into my database, so I'm just going to bring this across. I've got my users here. So what I can do, this is something I've changed recently. I can take my user and change their plan. So if I change it back to 0, then that would put me back on that free plan. Let me just load that up. I can't remember if it loads straight away. Oh, I've got a breakpoint. Oh yeah, I've got a database issue. So we've got some debugging to do, I think, as well. Because I thought I'd fix this, but I've got to put a DB context factory in here. Which again, let me just check that. I thought I did that. So one issue I did have in between streams was where the DB context for Entity Framework Core was using a scoped lifetime, and there were multiple scopes that were trying to share the same instance. It was really weird. So I implemented a DB context factory. I can talk more about that. Probably, I'm thinking about doing a standard YouTube video on that, to be honest, because I think it's a really useful thing to know. Let me just type factory, because I'm sure I added it. Scope factory. Find them all. Maybe I didn't. I think, let me have a look at these services then. Definitely added it to home. Oh yeah, it's not there. Okay, cool. Starting out with some Git issues. Let's get into it. So we're on develop. Okay. This isn't actually. So this is the actual latest stuff that I did. It looks like this isn't in develop. So I'm going to stop this. I didn't merge it, guys. So let's check out this branch. And then we'll go back over to the app. There you go. So this is what I changed. I meant to do that. I wanted to show you the difference. There you go. It was all planned. So yeah, I was having issues with the DB context, basically. So whenever my C# code was using Entity Framework to jump into the database, for some reason, it was to do with the way my dependency injection was set up. Multiple threads, I think, were trying to access the same DB context. And like a second operation would try to access it, and that's not Cricket. So I changed it to instead use a DB context factory. So way up here. So we're in Blazor, by the way. Again, anybody not familiar with Blazor or need catching up on this stuff, if you're in the chat already, drop something in. Or if you're watching this video after it's finished going live, then just drop comments. I'll answer your questions. So here you can see I'm injecting an ID context factory. So I was injecting the DB context. That was bad. So instead, I inject this factory, and then I can just say whenever I need to use the database, I just say context factory dot create db context, and then I can use that context, and it will die when it's out of the scope of the function I'm in. So that should work now, actually. So I'll just double check that. We'll do that test, and then if that's working, I'll merge it, and we can start looking at some of the outstanding issues that I've got in the GitHub project, because there are a lot. So let's just zoom out a little bit. I'm going to put in my credentials, even though you've probably seen my password, my email address already. I'm just going to pop that in off the screen. And in the last stream as well, I added the single sign-on stuff. So I did demonstrate that. So we've got Google single sign-on as well. So we're in, and this time if I go back, then we shouldn't have any issues around. There we go. So I downgraded the plan. I went down to free. So if I just close that, show you the billing page again. So now I'm back down to free. So I've just switched that number, the plan number in the database, and that's taken me back down to free. So 0, 1, 2, 3 for these plans. So now what that means is, because I don't have AI summaries, then I can go to the latest message, and this is actually locked. And if I want to see the AI summaries, then I can upgrade to another plan. So that's where I am at the moment. That's the big sort of lockout piece for free, because I think I wanted to be able to make it as simple as possible for people to have a free trial, but then get some usage out of it as well. You know, if you just need to pop some JSON somewhere and then look at it later, no problem. Up on the starter plan, then I've got obviously everything in free, and then I'm starting out with the amount of AI summaries that you can have. So starting out on starter is 100 AI summaries per month. Might be a bit tight, I don't know, but it is a starter plan. So I put here, it's great for individuals and small projects. So we'll see. This is going to be a learning curve. I'm probably going to have to juggle these a little bit. Whether this needs to be a couple of hundred a month or not, we'll figure that out when I get to the phase where people are actually using this. Like I say, no one's actually trying this out yet. Then I've got this pro plan, so that's just under $30 a month. So you get everything in starter, and then your AI summaries goes up to 1,000. You've got a higher retention. So this is one thing that I do need to add. I might put that into the project page before I forget. So you'll actually have a 30-day retention. And then business, we've got this $100 a month, just under. You've got unlimited AI summaries. Again, whether that's too much, I don't know. That might be a mistake. We'll have a look at that. Unlimited data retention, again, I might change it to custom data retention, so you might be able to actually just specify yourself. Dedicated support, so again, this is just like, you know, you pay a business license and you can get access to support. And custom integration, so this is where you might be able to integrate with something like N8N or Zapier, things like that. So again, I'm not really sure how I feel about that. I feel like there needs to be some element of integrations across the board, maybe from starter. But for now, this is what I've got. So it's just for me to be able to have the plans there. There's no Stripe integration yet, so I need to do that as well. But yeah, that's what's changed basically since the last stream. As well as this stuff. So, you know, locking out the summaries if you're on a free plan. Cool. Right. Let's have a look at some of the stuff that I've got on the board then. So last time as well, I was using some AI. So I started out the project just writing the code myself. So if you've seen my channel before, I'm a software engineer, mostly .NET, although I do some Python and some full stack stuff as well. So I started writing the application from scratch using Blazor, Blazor as the UI framework, obviously using Entity Framework for the database layer. And then I wanted to try out some AI Copilot-y things. So I started out with Codex. I thought that was pretty cool, thought it was really good. And then recently now I'm starting to try out GitHub. Copilot. So in this stream, I'm going to use GitHub Copilot to pick some of the items off the board and start working on them. And I might also have to add some items as well. So just looking back at that page on the billing, there's some things in here that I've added which I don't yet have any tasks for on the board. So that's an issue. So I think it's retention. That's the big one. So I'll need something on the board for adding retention periods. So based on the plan that you've got. So let's go over to this project. And here is my roadmap ultimately. So I'm building up to my first prototype. So I've already kind of got a prototype. You could say that this is like preview release, something like that. But for now, I'm just calling it the prototype. But everything on here is what I want to have done before I put this into the hands of people, basically. So by the end of the items being completed on here, I want to have it hosted somewhere and I want people to be using it. And so obviously, if you want to be one of those people, then you can join the waiting list. So while I'm on that topic, go over to zenhook.io. This is a landing page for the application, and you can get the information about the things that I'm intending to put together, how it works, and then of course you can join the waitlist as well. So if you do fancy trying this out, the people that join the waitlist, I want to give them a degree of free access in preview before we go live. So nothing to lose really, other than a little bit of time, and the feedback I'll get from it will be invaluable. So please do check this out. Join up to the waiting list, and you'll be able to help me get this off the ground. Okay, so let's take a look at what we've got on the board. So one of the things I need to put in before I forget into the backlog is retention periods. So add retention periods for specific plans. This might get complicated because, well, not complicated, but it could get more complex than the stuff I've been adding so far. It might be something that sits outside of the application itself as a kind of maintenance operation. So it could be that I have to think this one through. But something on a schedule needs to come in and clean up the database for specific users. So that's probably not going to be for this video. It'll be for another time, but I want to get it on the board before I forget about it. Okay, so what have I got in my next up? So quite a few things, some more simple, some a little bit more complex. So just looking at this one, I've got tooltips across the UI. So that's just your simple, add a little bit of helper text. Then I've got the bulk actions on the endpoints. This is a good one because on the inbox, I've got bulk actions. You can see here on the left, I can, just go through and tick things and then say, yeah, just delete them, kill them off, and mark them as read, mark them as unread, all that stuff. So it would be good to have that for the endpoints as well, because I can select them, but I don't have any way to just mass disable or mass delete. So we could add that in today. That'd be good. Oh yeah, I also added in some automated email stuff. So for example, when you've got your password, the usual stuff, confirm your email address if you've registered, and it's just sending like really boring plain text messages through. So it'd be cool to beef those up a little bit and have them look a bit nicer. This is some SignalR. So I'm going to put that in brackets there. So if you don't know what SignalR is, it's a real-time notification framework. So you can make things appear on the page, for example, in real time. You can have events happen You have these hubs that live in one place, and you have clients which subscribe to those hubs. And when things change on the hub, you can have things materialize on the client side, or you can have the client send things to the hub. It's a messaging service, essentially. And if you're interested in learning it, I'm full of plugs today. You can head over to dometrain.com, and I have a course on SignalR in .NET from zero to hero. It'll take you from the very beginning all the way to the advanced topics. So check that out. It is a fantastic site. I know I'm biased because I've got some courses on there. I also have a Dapper course as well. If you've ever come across Dapper, I bet I've just gone past it. There it is. So, starting the course. Don't want to do that. Don't want to give you a freebie. So yeah, check it out if you're interested in SignalR. I'm going to be doing some in this application, obviously, but if you want to get right into the guts of it, you want to go all the way through to some advanced topics, then check out dometrain.com. Okay, so there's that one. And then custom feeds. This is something that I think could be a pretty key feature. So what I want to do is give the user the ability to take different endpoints that they've set up. So, for example, if you could take test 1 and test 4, and you could say, whenever something comes in for that submission, I want it to go into a feed. I want it to go into a custom feed. And this would not be a free tier thing because it's based on the AI summaries. So it will take the AI summary and it will drop it into this chat interface on the browser, on the Zenhook interface, as if it was a chat. So, you'll get one endpoint saying, you just got a lead in your CRM software, and then another one comes in with a different color chat bubble, and it says, "Oh my God, this VM's just exploded." And it's like you've received it from a person, basically. That person being the name of the endpoint. So I think that's a pretty cool feature, and that's a big thing that I want to add. At the moment, I'm calling it custom feeds because you'll be able to say, "I want to use these endpoints." So that's something I need to add in. Eventually, I also want that to extend into chat application integrations, third-party chat applications. So Teams, Slack, Discord, it would be amazing to be able to say, right, that custom feed now just points to Teams. It points to Discord, as well as things like, it kicks off another process. That's where we're starting to build even more crazy integration features. So which one do I work on first? That is the question. That is indeed the question. And I don't know, really. I think the thing that's making me itch the most at the moment is this idea that I don't have bulk actions on the endpoints. I really don't like that because I do have it elsewhere. So I think I'm going to do this first. So let's move this into in progress. And then I'm also going to assign this to Copilot. So I want to test out Copilot and see how it does it. Before that, though, I was just remembered I was on this other branch and it wasn't merged into develop. So I'm going to do a pull request on this. So start a pull request. Oh, I haven't pushed it. Well, that's good, isn't it? I'm full of Git best practices today. Oh, it is pushed, but it's behind it. Well, I know it's working, so I'm going to do force push. Feeling crazy. And then I will do a pull request. So I'm going to PR this into develop. Why? Great. We've got a merge conflict. So let's fix some merge conflicts first then. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to rebase it on develop and see what's conflicting. You what? You just told me there was a merge conflict. Right, okay. Let me push that then. I'm missing something here. The last thing I want to do is get into like a Git mess on stream. That would be fun, wouldn't it? Just me like panicking. Git's broken. Right, let me just see if I can start a pull request again now. Develop. Generate title and description. Gotta love that. Mate, get cracking. I'm not even going to be... There's no shame anymore. Sponsor me. I will preach about your application. It's so good. Generating these commit messages and the commit descriptions. Yes. If you want to sponsor, come on. I'm here for you. Okay. What I haven't tried yet as well is the GitHub Copilot code review. Because I think I can tell the Copilot to review my code. I might regret this. So let's go over to this project then. Just want the repo. Here we go. Pull requests. Yes. Okay, cool. So I can say here, request review. Let's see what Copilot has to say. Can I click that to see what it says? Pending review. So what happens now? If I go to Copilot, do I just wait? Started reviewing on behalf of Nick Proud now. Cool. View session. I like this. So it's starting by creating a plan to review this pull request. It looks like it's got comments for me already. DB context here is not being disposed. Okay. Yeah, that's not good, is it? Fetch for a different context instance. So it looks like I'm not cleaning up after myself. This is good, though. I would have missed this. Especially when you're a solo dev. Like, I'm trying really hard to stay away from all the pessimism about copilots. Because it is scary. There's no doubt that it is scary. I fully appreciate that. And I've been writing code for over a decade, so I feel pretty comfortable with my abilities. So it's different for me because I just see it as an accelerator, like things like spotting stuff that I wouldn't see if I wasn't working in a team. Like working on this on my own, it's really easy to miss something. But I can see for a lot of junior developers, people are just starting out. I can understand how it might be scary. And the thing that does worry me is that junior developers, I don't want to be presumptuous, but that they might not think that they need to learn as much. That is something that does kind of scare me a little bit. I don't know. It's because it could be really easy, couldn't it, to just be like, nah, I don't need to learn how to code. Copilot will do it for me. But you do need to be able to understand what it's saying here. So, I don't know. That's a whole other topic, right? So I'm just wondering, does it put the review in here, or do I have to go to the session and wait? Can't tell. Well, let's open a can of Coke. See what it has to say. I'll just refresh it. I think it's still going. That is something that isn't clear, unless I'm just being stupid. It's not clear to me if it's still in progress. Like, am I still waiting for it to do anything? I'm guessing if when it's finished, it's going to put comments on the pull request. Pending review. It's taken a while. Okay. Well, let me take a couple of minutes for this to finish, and I'll be right back. Okay, here we go. Got the cardigan on because it is cold, but the review has finished. So, here we go. Conversation. Right, so plan service. So this is where I'm managing the new plans. Yeah, so I just need to do an await using. Yeah. So I was in the throes of fixing that issue with the DB Context Factory. I didn't even think about disposal. So I'm going to have that, please. Good times. Same with that one. Hopefully it is just the same, that I'm not awaiting and then using a using. Let's go back to the pull request. Have a look at the main page. Let's go here. It's fine. Oh. Right. Disable endpoint click. Fetches an endpoint using only ID. Updates it without confirming that it belongs to the current authenticated user. If an attacker forges a UI event or signal message passing another user's endpoint ID, which is exposed in webhook URLs, they could disable endpoints they do not own. Ensure this query is scoped with the current user's identifier. And, okay, so it's just adding an and. Yeah, that's good. Because it is open, isn't it? It's kind of relying on the API key that I've sent through, but it's still... No, wait, it's not. Yeah, so if somehow you got the ID of an endpoint, but you were logged in as someone else and you were able to inject that ID, you could mess around with someone you could mess around with someone else's endpoint. Nice. Can't I just apply the suggestion here? I'm just going to add it to this code. So it's on disable endpoint, click. So if I go over to endpoints, disable endpoint, click. First of default, x.id, so endpoint ID equals endpoint.id. I need the user as well. User is... Okay, user ID is there. So we're getting the currently logged in user. So that's fine, I do have that. So I could say and user ID is equal to x dot user ID. Cool. Let's see if we can find anything else. Enable. So add that to that one as well. And this one, we don't want anyone deleting anybody else's endpoints. Oh, silly. Primary key values. I think I want to change this because this is just going off the primary key, which is obviously the ID, but then I can't really check against the user ID here. I don't think. So instead I could do db.endpoints dot single or default because that will either return 1 or multiple. So then I can say x.id is equal to endpoint.id and x.user.id is equal to the current user's ID. And why can't I do that? Okay, it was just the async. Cool. So then I'm still checking for null. So if there isn't a single message there, then it will be null. So that's fine. It'll just say endpoint not found. Cool. So hopefully we've just done a little security patch there. Maybe I should do the same for submissions as well. Because in the inbox, we do target submissions per, it is user ID, so that's okay. What about the search function? Submissions. I mean, it might just be safer to just do it across the board. Like that. I know I've already got that. So it's already the submissions for that user. So they're okay. But this one, marking items as red, is targeting a specific submission. So again, someone could potentially mark somebody else's stuff as red, which is just spooky more than anything else. So put that in there as well. Put that in there as well. Anything where I'm just looking for a submission by its ID. Same for that one. Okay. Awesome. Is there anything else that I grab? What about my data, my dashboard? So that's all user ID. That's already got using user ID. That's fine. Submissions. So this is the submissions count. Endpoint usage. This will get your submissions total, where the endpoint ID is equal to the ID that we've passed in, and the user ID is equal to the user ID, because we do have that initialized. I don't know if I'm being over paranoid here, but since Copilot suggested that, I'm like, yeah, I just need to do it. Okay. Submissions, where it's equal to that submission ID, blah, 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 blah. There's someone at my door, just bear with me. I think we've satisfied Copilot. So let's look at what we've got. Okay. Right, so it's added that in, has it? Do I need to just pull that? Just didn't click save. Press save. Idiot. Okay. Save all. There's more than that. There we go. There we go. Right, let's get them staged. Ensures data isolation per user ID. Nice. So we'll commit that. Now the cat wants to go out. Great. The joys of streaming. Push that, and then go back to our pull request. Do we have our commit? Yeah, cool. Okay. So we can ignore those other comments there. That's fine. Yes. One of them created a pull request, didn't it? Missing XML documentation. Comment for this public method. Don't care about that. So that's sorted. That one's sorted. That one's sorted. That one is sorted. It's just that one. I know, way more. So if I go into the code, actually, await db dot. Yeah, so it's rife. So plan service. Let's have a look in there. So wherever I speak to the DB, there it is. Using what have I just done wrong? Idiot. It did tell me to do await using there. Interesting. We have to test that. So it really, I just need to put using there. Why was it telling me to do await using? Very strange. Very strange indeed. Hello, cat. Hello, cat. Do you want to write some code? No one can see you. Oh, there you go. I'm trying to figure out why things aren't disposing. Can you help me? Nah, I don't think you can. Okay. That's it. You rub yourself up against the mic. That's fine. Let's check these other services then. Plan service, plan service, plan service, plan service. Apparently it was only in the plan service. Interesting. Okay, well, let's push this then. And then we can resolve those. So if I save all. Get a swanky AI description. Lovely stuff. Push that bad boy. It's on the pull request. Okay, so we can resolve all these now. So that was useful. As you know, I did want to spend this stream testing out GitHub Copilot, and that was really useful. It was a simple thing, but it picked it up. So it should be better code as a result. Let me just quickly do a really quick sanity check on that since I changed it, because it's slightly different to the example code that it gave me. Okay. My app settings has been stashed. Let me just have a look at this. It is private. Pop that stash. Don't want to be giving out my connection string, do I? I'll log in. Okay, we're back. So let's just have a quick look around. Can I still get endpoints okay? Can I open them up? That looks good. Can I disable endpoints? Yeah, it's all good. Can I create new endpoints? Yeah, that's all good. Can I send data in? Let's have a look. Let's just change this to all ones. Send that through. That looks like it's been accepted. Take a look. Refresh that. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, okay. So it's working. Awesome. Okay. Let's get that merged. Merge that pull request. Lovely. Back over to the project. Okay, so now we can actually start looking at the bulk actions. So I don't know how much of this I'll get done on this stream, but we can make a start on it. So I'm going to put some information on here for Copilot because I want to assign it to the Copilot. So first things first, before I forget, I'm going to create a branch. I will do it off of develop. And then I'm just going to make sure that I've got that checked out. So I'm just going to stash my app settings, do a pull, and there's my branch. I'll pop that stash. Awesome. Right. So we need to give Copilot some instructions then. So the app already has bulk actions for submissions. We need this. We need similar functionality for endpoints. The endpoints screen has checkbox support on the endpoints table. So like implemented in the submissions UI, there should be a delete and disable, delete, disable, and enable button in the same style. Each button should allow so it would be the relevant action should perform its respective actions on all selected endpoints when clicked. For example, if you clicked delete, the confirmation modal would show, and if confirmed, then the selected endpoints would be deleted and disappear from the table. If disable is clicked, then the selected endpoints are set to disabled, and the buttons for those endpoints are changed to as if they had been toggled. Same for enable. Obviously, if bulk disabling, for instance, any already disabled endpoints will not change. Same again for enable. Probably not the best prompt in the world, but let's just see how it goes. I'm going to save that. I've got it on a new branch, and then I'm going to assign that to Copilot. I don't think I need to give it an optional prompt, and I'm just going to assign it, and off it goes. Now this is a really cool feature because I think it uses the agent mode. So down here you can see Copilot has dropped a message, and we can see work in progress, add bulk actions for delete, enable endpoints. Thanks for assigning this issue to me. Why? Why does it default to main? I guess main is the default branch. It would be so much better if it just defaulted to the branch that it was branched off of for its pull request. Okay. Well, if I head over to Copilot here, then on the left we should see agent sessions. There we go. So we've got a session in progress now. So we can watch what it's doing. So it's setting itself up. It's going to explore the repository structure. Let's just zoom in. To understand the code base, particularly focusing on how bulk actions are implemented for submissions and how the endpoints UI is structured. That's really impressive. It's interpreting what I put in quite well so far, because it knows that it needs to take the lead from how it's set up for submissions. This appears to be a .NET solution, very astute. It's a Blazor application, exploring the components. It's looking at the inbox page. It's on the right track. It's good. Got the code there. Like it. Now I can see the pattern. Okay, someone's at my door again. Be right back. Okay, let's wrap this up. That was a long break. So, according to this, Copilot is still working. But I think it might be near the end. So let's have a look at some of the things it's added. Wow, there's a lot. So it's got all its findings. It needs to implement bulk action buttons. Wow, okay. So it doesn't look like it's actually done much yet. Okay, enable, disable, delete. We've got the buttons. It's adding the methods. So delete selected. Hang on a minute. So here we've got await context.endpoints. So I wonder if that's going to be an issue. We're not actually using DB Context Factory in this yet. I thought we'd done it across the board, so obviously it's not done there, and that's just calling the context that's been injected in. So I guess we'll find out if that's an issue. I might just switch that over to DB Context Factory once this is finished. Also, this is a little bit of a double standard. It's just looking for the endpoints to... So it goes through the selected items, cool. And then for each selected item, it gets the endpoint by its ID. But it isn't checking that the current user is appropriate for that endpoint. But it told me that I should. Did it pick that up in its own code review? That's what I want to know next. Review changes with code review. Okay, so it's got an N+1 problem. So it's doing multiple database queries when it should just batch them. So it's fixing those. That's good. It's still not putting in the user verification. That's really interesting. It told me to do that. Is there something different about those, though? Code review one more time. Ah, there we go. Oh, good. I'm glad, actually. I thought it was going to... Yeah, this is the same thing that... Interesting as well, that's what it did automatically. Unless it's basing it off my submission code. But my submission code now has that. I'm just trying to figure out what Copilot is thinking. How it's inferring or predicting how it should act. But yeah, now we've got verification on the user IDs. Okay, so it successfully implemented bulk actions. Okay. So the build is successful. All of the existing tests pass. That's good because it put in the unit tests for me. It's done the code review and it's done a code QL security check. So this is really cool actually as well. Although actually it's no applicable analysis for Razor files. So it will do with certain versions of GitHub Copilot. So this is GitHub Plus, I think. And then Copilot Pro Plus, it's like the top tier before you go into like enterprise. It will have this code QL check. So it will scan your code to see if there are any potential vulnerabilities against it. Although it did say no applicable analysis for Razor files, so I'm wondering whether it doesn't support those. Okay, so back on the pull request, we can see all the things that it changed. I can review it. Nick Pratt was requested for review. So what I really want to do is pull this, but also I want to merge it into develop. And let's just make sure that there's no new merge conflicts. It says it will merge. Okay, cool. So I'm just going to pull this then, actually test it. Endpoints, bulk actions, delete, disable, enable. Oh, okay. So I thought I was being proactive and creating a branch by default, but actually Copilot creates its own branch. So that's me being silly. So that's the branch that I need to check out, and then I can delete this one. And then I can also delete the local one as well. So I'll remember that for next time. So we're just looking to get that into there, but obviously I want to test it first. So let's just stop the application. First things first, it did say on Copilot's pull request that it would build, but I'm just going to build it anyway. And then I'll run it. I'm using Visual Studio 2026, by the way. I only recently downloaded it, and I'm pretty impressed so far. It doesn't look much different, but it's way more performative. Performant. It's faster. Loads quicker. I think the emphasis has been on simple access to Copilot. So, chatting with Copilot is really good, but then also performance. So that's good. And here we go. So on what is going wrong here? On my home.razor, I no longer have the DB context factory. Why? Didn't I merge that into develop? Let's look at some of my old pull requests. So Zenhook app. Let's just look at them all. So this is the last one that I merged. Oh, I didn't even see that. How did I not see that? Oh, okay. Cool. So it did add it to endpoints. But it added it here as well. And this got merged into develop. And this branch is coming from develop, right? Maybe it's not. Here we go. It's coming off main. Right, so That's annoying. That is annoying. If I give Copilot a task, is it just going to go off main every time? Okay, let's try this then. So let's take this branch and let's rebase it off develop. Okay, so now... Yes. Okay, cool. Back on home. Right. So I didn't realize that Copilot was basing everything off main. That is kind of annoying. What if I... Okay, hang on a second. I think it's me. I think it's me. I'm the problem. It's me. When I do... Like, say, for example, I assign this to Copilot. Like this. Oh, dickhead. I'm learning so much in front of the world. Well, whoever watches this, so probably not the world. Okay, next time I'll remember, got to change it to develop. So that's fine. I know why that happened. Because it took it from main, and main doesn't have the DB context factory changes in. Awesome. Right, now I can try this. What's broken? In endpoints. So in endpoints, I've injected a context factory now, but I don't think I've changed the code for everything. So here, for example, yeah. So I've done it at the top. Done it for these, but I haven't done it here. And obviously because, well, Copilot didn't have a DB context factory for those bits because it was off of main. Right, so I need to fix this. So I can essentially just take this, stick this in everywhere where I need it, and then just change this to await DB. And then DB. Oh. db.save changes async. Yes. Okay. That's just because you've got your branches mixed up when you're working with Copilot. So that's a good learning point. Make sure you're branching off of develop. Main, I only really want to be merging with in this part of my process when the app is like in a really stable state. So I just did a main merge because there was a load of base functionality that I've had in there for ages. But really, everything that I've been doing with Copilot needs to just sit and develop while I do more testing. Then I can do a release branch and blah, blah, blah. I need to get into GitHub Actions as well. There's so much to do. It just seems like such a small app, but actually, if I want this to be decent, there is quite a lot to do, but that's good. So we put that in there. So we create a DB context. Change that to DB. Okay. So I want to wrap this stream up. But before I do, I want to just run this and see what Copilot built and give it a test. But it's pretty cool. I feel like the more I use Copilot, the more I feel like I'm... Well, the clue's in the name. It's a Copilot, but I feel like I'm working with a junior dev. Like I feel, maybe not even a junior dev, but I just feel like I have someone on my team, which is pretty sick actually. When I'm a solo dev, just having I could have Copilot working on another feature while I'm working on something. So that is awesome. I do like that. Okay, endpoints. Ooh, okay. So you've put these in. It's a bit different. Like here, they're all grey. They won't do anything unless I do that. I can disable that. Disable. It's already disabled. If I select that and click enable, if I select some of these, click disable, yes, please. I could select them all and click enable, yep. Let's take this one that I created and test 4, delete them. I mean, that is pretty sick. I am enjoying that. Let's have a look at the tests that it's put in. Plan service tests. Okay, we don't have any other tests at the moment. But that's fine. I can definitely get Copilot to do these. Now, these look broken, actually. But this, again, I think will be... Oh, it's using mock. Ah, don't use mock. Why? Okay, I'm going to come back to that. I think I want to get that to use and substitute instead. Some controversy around mock. And I did a video about mock after the controversy because I didn't know about it, so I felt like an idiot. I was like, oh, here's how you use mock, guys. And everyone was like, mate, don't use mock. Okay, DB context, where's that coming from? That's there. Create it in memory DB context. It's not null because it doesn't. It needs a factory instead. So I've never tried it to make a factory in a unit test. I've never tried to make a DB context factory in a unit test. Should I be trying to fix this now? Maybe not. New DB context factory. Maybe it just does it there. I'll take a look. That's another thing to look at then. Let's get that into... Let's get that into my backlog. Redo unit tests. Just so it's there, so I remember it. Because I should be writing tests ahead of time, really. I do prefer doing test-driven development, but I'm also lazy. Okay, so it's done what I'm expecting it to do. The tests need some work, but the application itself, it's good. It's working. Do I want these to be those colors? I don't know. And I guess that is there because the search box is there. So that's not so bad. And I am coloring delete red. So I think that's okay. 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 Nice. I'm also noticing that. Oh, that's annoying. So if I move to a different plan, if I change that, we've got starter plan and it's a different colour. So I probably just need to change the colour because it just doesn't work against that purple. Just spotting things now. I've not tried the other plans yet, so let's just try that. Move up to the next plan. Pro plan. It's the same colour. Maybe they all just need to be blue. Let's have a look at the business plan. Ugh. Ugh, no. No, no, no. Okay. Yeah, that's another thing to put in. Make plan badges 1 easy to view color. I'm sure I'll remember what that means later on. Okay, cool. Right, well, that was really good. We got our Git up to date with some of the changes that I added in. I showed you guys some of these new features, and we've added in another new feature, which is the bulk actions on the endpoints. So we've got plenty to do. I'm going to mark that as in review, so I can just take another look at the code before I merge it, and then we can dig into some of these things. So, I might take a look at some of these smaller items and then do a stream for these, because this will be SignalR, so that'd be cool to do some SignalR stuff on the stream. But yeah, I think that's it. So if you did watch, thanks for watching. If you're catching this after the stream, then great. I'm glad that you did watch it. If you've got any questions about what I'm building, then leave some comments on the video, or you can head over to proudcloud.dev. You can join the Proud Cloud and you can subscribe to my newsletter where I talk about all sorts of things, especially around .NET. And you can also find my YouTube. So I've got a YouTube channel where I do things similar to this, but obviously you can see right there, we are live at the moment. But I've got lots of different video content, like talking about being a self-taught developer, talking about technologies like EF Core, Blazor, machine learning, all sorts of cool things. And also, I've got the courses on Dome Train, which I talked about, and you can connect to me on LinkedIn and follow me on Twitter. So I'm available all around, happy to talk to anyone, especially about some of the things I'm building. And at the moment, it's all about Zenhook. So please do join the waiting list, and you'll be notified as soon as Zenhook is available for some public beta testing. But for the meantime, catch you later. Thanks for watching.